So there you have Prime Minister Modi delivering a 17-minute speech, reaching out to American business, asking them, come to India and invest in various sectors from pharma to defense to insurance to space. India is ready for your investment. We want to be an Atmanirbhar Bharat, but we also want to be a Bharat that can reach out to other countries. There is never a better time than this, he says, to invest in India. That's what Prime Minister Modi has said in this speech to the US-India Business Council. I want to be, at this moment, we are joined by KC Singh, former ambassador. KC Singh, your first reactions to what you heard. Is this the Prime Minister at a time when economic growth has slowed down in COVID times, declined, the fears of a recession, reaching out to America saying there is never a better time to invest in India? Now, in COVID times, many will say that perhaps statement belies the ground reality.
Absolutely correct. That's the impression I get. This is a speech he could have given after his re-election last year. Immediately after that, instead of spending the next 6 months on a domestic agenda, this was the kind of speech to give then. At the moment, the world is completely distracted. Europe has got a $1.5 trillion package to revive their economy. US president is going into an election, and we don't even know if he is going to get re-elected. And there is a conflict between, Prime Minister says, open minds lead to open markets. But President Trump's mind is not open as far as his markets are concerned. So there is a conflict between what you call Atmanirbhar and diversifying exports. Because if we want to be a part of the global supply chain, then there's a brick and mortar, which you have to have the infrastructure for and draw into India. There was no indication of
that. But
it.
Is this a time, KC Singh, that you believe the US, which is increasingly inward looking, as you said, which is in a presidential year, where you've got a president of the United States who has an America first policy, do you believe that American business will be attracted by the idea of India at a time when the world is looking very suspiciously at China and would perhaps look for alternatives?
Look at the message that Secretary of State Pompeo gave. He said, we have a common threat from the Communist Party of China. So there are three things there. One is COVID, which both countries are fighting. Second is China. The Americans have closed the Chinese consulate in Houston, which is sending a message to them. They are increasing their presence, naval presence in South China Sea. They are generally saying they stand with us, unlike any other country in Europe. So there is a post-COVID world. There may also be a post-Trump world. I don't think PM was addressing that because it's an entirely different world which will emerge in the next 6 months to a year. And at the moment, civil aviation is a dead duck all over the world. What investment in civil aviation will you get? You got your biggest airline laying off people. So I don't know what Prime Minister is talking of over the horizon. It was a speech which, as I said, could have come 6 months earlier. It's a speech probably 6 months later. But at the moment, you have to cut your cloth to your size. You will get some investment. $20 billion he talked about has mainly come to geo platforms, which has come from America, which is good. It is not to be scoffed at, but it is selective to e-markets. They can see the expansion there. So e-markets, you're looking into the future. But brick and mortar, civil aviation, no. Agriculture, maybe. Healthcare, yes, we have a common stake. So there are some takeaways in this, but it's a very broad brush kind of a general speech which Prime Minister has given in the past. It seems to ignore the contemporary reality. He talks of global optimism about India. I don't think anybody is worried about India at the moment of concern. They're all concerned about themselves. Everybody is worried about that. And the Chinese are busy pushing. Right. So the main idea, which is combining a strategic interest much more than ever before, is no longer Pakistan, it's no longer Afghanistan, it's China. And I think that's what is drawing us together. And it's a good thing. Now, when External Affairs Minister spoke earlier, he was trying to balance this. He says, yes, US also has to see that it can't be a full alliance. It can only be selective. We may have differences because, that is to hedge against what US may do in Afghanistan or with Pakistan or with someone else. But nevertheless, on China, we are standing firm because at the moment President Trump has only one target. He's trailing in the election. He cannot target Biden. He's gone completely wrong with how to handle COVID in America. And therefore, he's targeting China. He needs an object to target, to rally the nation behind him. So on that, he is aligning with us. But you also don't want to align and get into a confrontation with China on American terms. You can only do it on your own terms. So I don't know, this speech is kind of general. It gives a general broad vision of where India wants to go. But I don't think we're going to have the Americans catching the next flight to come to India to invest.
Well, let's leave it there. Perhaps, as you said, this speech could have been made in a pre-COVID era. It could have been made in a post-COVID era. But in the times in which we live, it seems every country wants to be Atmanirbhar and look inwards. And therefore, we will have to live with this global reality, at least for now in COVID times. But who knows? The future may well hold more opportunities. Appreciate KC Singh, you joining us and giving us a quick.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.